Welcome back to another episode of our van build. It's Thursday night. I have a 3-day weekend this weekend. I'm pretty excited because I have a lot of things I want to get done on the van in these 3 days. My wife is off, I am off. We have 3 solid days to get this done. We've been building a lot of the parts, our second floor, supports for the second floor. We've been putting them in, not fully mounting them, but tacking them in just so we can get a feel for what the fit is going to be like. Remember, this is a Transit and I want to sleep widthwise in the van, so it's really kind of custom to get our heights just right. So I'm 5'11", so I can fit nice and comfortably across the back widthwise. I've been driving around this week with the van to work, and a lot of the parts I've left in the van. I wanted to see where are the rattles, what are things I need to take a look at. I've gotten a good feel for that, so I see some areas that maybe we need to shave off a little wood to get it to custom fit a little better. We've had a heat wave, I'll call it, for the very beginning of May. We're in the low 90s here. We hit 91 today, and it was interesting because I had the van parked out in the middle of a parking lot, and while the van surprisingly didn't, with the thin insulation, didn't get nearly as hot as I would have expected, it did get warm in here, and I feel that it really pointed to some areas where we're going to need to make sure we get some good reflectix put up to guard against those really sunny days. So I think it was a good week of discovery and a good week of really just acknowledging those things that we've got to get done with the van to get it to the next step. So this 3 days, I have an absolute ton of lumber in the basement. We're ready to, I have the second floor in. We're going to be building, I'm going to be taking the second floor out so I can start to put up the reflectix, run all the wiring. If you remember in a previous video, I said we were going to put the battery up here with the refrigerator. I think instead we're actually going to put the battery originally where we stated, in the back of the van. So I need to get all my 12-volt wiring run to the back. We're going to run the ceiling studs across, get the wiring run up there, get the reflectix up there, and it would be really awesome if we can start to mount some of the tongue and groove this weekend. And just a ton of carpentry to do to really start getting things moving along in the van. So come along this weekend, and we're going to do hopefully get a lot done this weekend. So one of the things that we have to do tonight, my goal is to get everything out of here. This is the second floor we put in, and what we're going to have is benches up along either side here and a table in the center. The benches, when they go up, the tops of the benches are going to come up 14 inches on either side. We'll have storage inside the benches, but the tops of those benches, the lid will come back, it'll hinge, but I'll extend that back right up to the edge here. The one piece I have to figure out is, what do I do with this? So that's something we're going to work on this weekend. I've labeled all these parts so that as I have them tacked in here right now. So I'm going to pull them out, put them in order so that we can put them right back in again. And the goal is, by the time I walk away from this Sunday night, we have all of this back in with some other parts installed, and some other things that I found during the week that I'm going to need to do. These supports down here, made last weekend. I'm going to put a video up about that probably tonight, showing how we did that. Bought a Craig jig to deal with the joints. If you don't have a Craig jig or have never heard of one, look it up. I've seen them in a lot of van videos. I don't know how I've lived without a Craig jig for this long. It's a phenomenal piece of, a phenomenal little tool that really helps with a lot of things. The Goal Zero battery is right here. I'm going to put it back in this corner again, so I need to run 12-volt power throughout the van back to that location, and we'll put a 12-volt fuse box back there. So we talked about the benches, we have the table, going to do the wiring, have to put some reflectix up. And one of the things we're gonna put in the back here is, I noticed with these vans, the side door, I've got a nice grab handle to get up in the van, but there's nothing back here. You're just kind of grabbing in midair. But there's some good threaded holes on here, and I need to come up with some kind of solution where I can bolt in, maybe put a carabiner or some kind of grab hook to come up into there. In the back here, because we're going to be sitting up so high, there won't be any cabinets in here, so we can actually start putting some reflectix up. I might put a small little, like something just to hold little things up high, but that's about it. I think we have like 36 tongue and groove boards ready to roll, so I think we way overbought the cedar tongue and groove, so we'll probably be making a return trip to not Lowe's. We bought that at Home Depot. So the goal for tonight is to get everything out of here, start buttoning up things. We've been driving around for several weeks now with the floor in. Going to start getting some sealer around the floor to really begin to lock the floor into place. And as we're building this out, I'm trying to come up with solutions for safety. If you've never been in an accident, like a serious, you're driving fast, come to a solid stop accident, maybe you don't know what that force is like, but I've had the unfortunate experience in my life to be in an accident at highway speed where we've hit, and the force of that is a force you really never forget. So one of the things that I'm very wary of as I build this out is the safety factor of it. I don't want things in the event of an accident of myself or anybody in my family or friends driving this. I don't want all of this back here to become a missile going forward in the van. So when it comes to things like the pedestal table that we put up, I'm coming up with safety straps that will bolt into this floor, they'll bolt into the table, so that if you're in an accident and things break loose, there'll be things to grab it and stop it from all just becoming missiles flying at the front of the van. The floor I think we're going to be okay with, because there's enough I-beams that jut out from the side that the floor has been cut around. But the flooring, it really doesn't have the physical ability to fly forward. It would have to rip the side of the van out in order to do that. A lot of the other, like the second floor, the way I'm putting it in there, I'm trying to really guard against the fact when it comes to cabinets and so forth that doesn't become a flying thing. So the one thing I do have a concern about is the pedestal table that will be right in the middle. Not really necessarily the pedestal as much as that solid piece of wood that, you know, in an accident can really just become this missile going forward, and I really want to guard against that and have a good safety factor in place for that. So that's what we have planned for this weekend. Hope you follow along. We'll see you soon. We'll be posting a couple of videos. Talk to you soon. Peace.